One line of advice to an IAS aspirant who says, I want to grow up to become Ashwini Vaishnaw. If you had a magic wand, any one thing you'd want to change about Indian bureaucracy?
Ah, I'll be killed for giving a right answer.
You're a technologist, a finance whiz, and a politician. So I'm going to ask you, which skill do you find most used in each of your ministries? Ashwini ji, we'll have some fun. We play a little bit of a rapid fire. And, I think you might remember you might remember the format. Just have some fun with it, and keep answers a little bit short. So one thing that's changed for an IAS aspirant today compared to when you were studying, and the one thing that's not changed.
Too much of information. How do you cope with so much GK? I don't know. I think we'll require a chatbot to do the GK exam. Is it still there, General Studies exam?
And so I think most of them rely on Indian Express for that part of for that part of the exam. One thing that's not changed.
I think that aspirational level within our villages everywhere throughout the country, and it has expanded. Earlier, many places like Maharashtra, like Gujarat, people would generally not even aspire to be an IAS officer. Today, it's there throughout the country.
Ashwini ji, at some point, Babudam had got a bit of a bad name in India. Can you go back to that time and tell us when that was and why that was?
I'm not a history student. I live in the present and think of the future.
Okay. All right. The one lesson you have learned from Wharton that has helped your effectiveness as a minister and administrator?
Economic point of view, see, we can think of anything in multiple ways. One way of thinking is, okay, this is good, this is bad, so judgmental. Another thing, moral, immoral. So putting different types of frames of reference on things. But when you understand finance, when you study finance in a very deep way, and you start understanding the nuances of finance, then you start looking at things from an economic point of view, and that makes a big difference in our day-to-day life.
And the one lesson from the IAS that you think should be taught in MBA schools around the world?
Value system, creating that. Okay, so creating institutions is not something which is easy, right? It really comes with lots and lots of efforts by thousands and thousands of people over a few generations. So when we want to build institutions in a country, we can learn from the IAS, especially the institution of a district magistrate, and that can be a good template for many other things.
Super. The most exciting use of AI in governance that you have seen?
Okay, so one good example that I saw was in improving the number of reserve tickets, confirmed tickets. We applied AI on various pairs of stations, and it's able to give you such a good outcome that in the areas where it is applied, the confirmed tickets have increased by almost 28% or something, without actually harming the prospects of the people. It's good fun.
Super.
I'm a bit serious kind of people, so serious kind of person. So
no, it's a good answer. The most worrisome use of AI for governance?
Of deepfakes.
Deepfakes. One line of advice to an IAS aspirant who says, I want to grow up to become Ashwini Vaishnaw?
That's the most difficult question. I don't want anybody to grow like me. Grow your own life, live your own life, live your own values, live your own aspirations. We all have our very distinct, very different backgrounds, and do what you love to do. Basically, I would say that do what you love to do. Just do that. Live in the present. Think of the future. Have focus. Distract all the distractions. Keep them away, and really, really have a meaningful life.
The growing popularity of the political theater behind DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, does that concern you at all?
No, see, multiple things we have also done. For example, in the various schemes, when Aadhaar came, there were so many cases where funds were actually going to some persons whereas those persons didn't exist. For example, today DOGE has identified people above 200 years age, right? So that kind of thing has been done in our country when Aadhaar came, when so much cleaning up, I think it's about 1,50,000 crore rupees worth savings were made. And these are savings which carry on year after year. So that kind of thing has been practiced in the country already.
Super. If you had a magic wand, any one thing you'd want to change about Indian bureaucracy?
Ah, I'll be killed for giving a right answer. See, if there is one thing which I will request, I'm using the word request here. If there is one thing which I'll request all the officers and especially in all services is have an open mind, listen to the people, understand what their problems are, and instead of just commiserating with their problems, try to find a solution.
Okay. Is there one country outside of India whose bureaucracy you admire?
Singapore.
Okay. Why?
Very smart people, extremely knowledgeable.
But the population of Kaf Parade, I mean Singapore.
That can be, see, question is not, the bureaucracy also is relatively small, right?
Right, okay.
It can be small, but the point here is what's the level of their intellect,
Okay, yeah.
the level of their capability. That's phenomenal.
Is there an English bias in services and should it be corrected?
It should be corrected. We must love all our languages. I'm sure all officers know how well we learn the language of the place. Odia kiye koi paruchanti ethi? There are two officers from Odisha cadre, right? You enjoy living with the people who, the state in which you go and live. And I think that's a great thing.
Okay. You're a technologist, a finance whiz, and a politician. So I'm going to ask you, which skill do you find most used in each of your ministries? So let's start with IT. Do you find the technologist used most, or the finance guy used most, or the politician used most?
No, I think understanding of society makes a very big difference in all the three ministries. Technology you can get from anybody, right? But your understanding of how the social system works, what the society expects from you, what are the times that we are living in, where do we want our country to go from where we are today? Those are the things which matter much more than the skills.
So politician, is that a political skill, you think?
I frankly wouldn't like to put it in that kind of bucket because things are not as easy as that. Like you can put them in small buckets.
Okay.
Now you guys know what the UPSC interview looks like, right?
Okay, I'll ask a last question. If bureaucrats from around the world were to have visited the Kumbh, the Mahakumbh.
Oh, they would fail. Mahakumbh is such a big thing. I mean, organizing and something of this magnitude, I don't think any other country can take this challenge except the IS officers and the IPS officers and the railway officers and the other officers of our country. Nobody else can take that challenge.
Super. Ashwini ji, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being
Thank
smart
you.
and asking all the questions. Thank you so much.